What is up, guys? Fulgor here, and this is part 3 on tips and tricks with Alistar. It is basically like sort of a tutorial, little things you should know about Alistar. And I think last time we left off, Fizz pushed mid. I think he got a kill, and now they're basically going for revenge on Fizz. As you can see, he is pretty low, and they're waiting for the mini wave to push. So it's my time to shine. I see that the turret targets Sivir, so I headbutt her away. Then Fizz immediately comes and gets the kill. Tristana overextends a bit too much. Pulverize, gets some turret kills, and look at that. I think she tried to escape with 5 health, but no. Fizz said, "Fuck you, Tristana," and got it with an ulti like a boss. I've never been successful using that ulti. I think I played Fizz like twice, and I suck with that ulti. Anything that has to do um, with like trick shots or skill shots, I mean, it's annoying. Now, as you can see, the items I have just the like default boots and Frozen Heart. Frozen Heart, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but the reason why I bought Frozen Heart is to get some mana, because at the beginning of the game I was having some issues with my mana, and to get 20% reduction on my cooldowns, which is pretty good considering my cooldowns are a pain and I depend on them so much to help my team. Now, I do tell Draven, and by the way, when you're watching these videos, I do recommend you watch the chat. First of all, because sometimes it can get a bit boring just to see me, kill minions. I think that's the most boring part about this game. The team fights are very exciting, one-on-ones are very exciting, but just the farming part is a little bit boring. And also, when you look at the chat, it kind of it's entertaining, because some of the things people say are just incredibly funny, and sometimes you can also see actual strategy. You can actually see us planning a gank and stuff like that. So watching the chat is always important to kind of like get a feel of what's going on in case I don't have time to explain it. Now, right here, if you look at the minimap, you will notice that Tristana and Sivir were pushing mid, and we're kind of just closing from every side. And right here, Sivir engages on me. Unfortunately for her, my pulverize and headbutt keep her in place enough for Draven to come in, and Fizz just goes in for the kill with his flash. And right here, I try to headbutt Alistar away, but it was too late. He just flashed in front of me, so I just figure, hell, I'll take a chunk out of his health at least. And right here, we decide we're gonna turret dive. I mean, my objective right now is to get Fizz fed. Unfortunately, he does use his ulti. No matter, Draven to the rescue. Beautiful ulti. Now, some people might say that was a kill steal. It really wasn't. I mean, Draven's ulti has a huge delay on it, considering it's like something you have to throw across the map. So it's not really a kill steal. Besides, we're all fighting to get him. So the way I see it and the way many people see it, as long as the team gets the kill, it's a win on everybody's side. Now, every time, I don't recommend, like, maybe towards the late part of the game, right after a kill, you should always push the towers, because the later in the game, the longer their spawn time will be. However, when you're at like level 13 and you only get a tower, and you're pretty low on health like I was, I do recommend teleporting back. You shouldn't push the tower. I mean, you can, and sometimes it might be successful. But overall, it's not really a good idea, because you might get ganked by the enemy team, and you basically give up a free kill. So overall, I'd say at the beginning of a game, every time you get a turret and you're pretty low on health, you should go back. Now, right here, Draven tries to take Sivir one-on-one. However, Sivir and that spell shield it's too much for him to handle. He should have waited for me. Again, however, if you see in the chat, he wasn't really looking. I guess he was just going to a certain location and wasn't really paying attention to his minimap, which is something you should never do. You should always have your eyes in your minimap, map awareness. That was like the first lesson I received in this game. You always want to know what's going on so you don't get ganked. If you're walking around and you don't see an enemy in like for the past 5 minutes, I recommend you go back. Go back. Go next to your teammates, because shit's about to go down. Now, we did lose a tower on bottom, so when it comes to towers, we're tied. So the only real advantage we have is the fact that we have 8 kills, and that can make a big difference. I think most of the kills are basically from Fizz, because we've been Fizz and Draven, because I've been trying to get them fed. I mean, if you have a fed Fizz, is just annoying. I mean, Playful Trickster itself is such a simple skill, yet it can dodge ultis, and when you have a fed Fizz, it's just game over basically, and a fed Draven as well. The only downside to Draven and Fizz is their health, but Draven has Blood Rush, which allows him to run a lot faster, and I believe this Draven has Flash, so it's not really an issue. And when it comes to Fizz, he has Playful Trickster, which he can basically deal damage while dodging basically incoming damage. So when it comes to that, I'm not really worried. I know I'm still being a bodyguard at this point, but later on I just take the role of dealing as much damage possible and going for kills. In the early game, I'm just trying to get them fed. Now right here, if you see in the minimap, they're not pushing mid, they're not really pushing bottom, so we're like, okay, they're either preparing for a gank, or they went back to buy items or whatever. So we decide to steal their buffs. Draven is going for the red buff, which is a really good buff to get on AD carries. Me being the good teammate that I am, I draw aggro or whatever. Get him low, and we get Draven. Now we see Sivir. Sivir, you will notice through this entire game, is our main target, because she's basically the one carrying that team. She's the one dealing the most damage, and I believe she's the one with the most kills in the enemy team. And I believe she also has her blue buff. So every time we see Sivir, we're basically going to jump on her. And that's usually what you want to do, especially during a team fight. You always want to focus the person doing the most damage, get that out of the way, and then immediately proceed to damage the entire team, get a pentakill, everyday stuff. Right now, we decide to help Blitz and Anivia because they are one turret down and they kind of need the help. So we're just going in and we're pushing. And if we get this turret, this basically allows us to push the middle turret. Now, right here, G has nothing on us. I mean, G shouldn't have engaged. This is a 2v4. That's insane. And right here, Brand is wise enough to use Ghost to run away. I do burn my flash, which is unfortunate because I can't catch up to him. He's too fast thanks to that Ghost. And as a result, we don't notice that Sivir actually gets Blitzcrank and is going for Draven actually. So Sivir does manage to get Draven, but we're not gonna let that go. I come in, pulverize immediately to keep her in place, and Anivia picks up the kill. Fizz does waste his ulti, but he should have known better than that. I mean, when you have a 3v1, you shouldn't waste your ulti. It's kind of a waste, and honestly, it shows that you're being greedy, and you shouldn't do that. I mean, kills are important, but you don't need every kill. So right now we're just pushing, and the main objective of pushing right now is basically get a couple of turrets before pushing mid, because I have noticed that during most games, after like the 20-minute mark, shit just starts going down at mid. I don't know what it is. They don't push any other lane but mid, and I think it's kind of funny. Now G this game, this G is pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. He is just charging at 3 people, hoping to get a kill. And G's a very powerful champion in this game. I can't argue that with anybody. But it's just not going to work when you have a tanker and 2 people like Anivia and Fizz that deal just immense amounts of damage. Now, as a result, we took down 1 turret. If you know math, 2 is greater than 1, so we have taken the lead once again, both in kills and turrets. Oh, and right here I buy the something Aegis or whatever. The reason why I bought it is health, because I'm a tanker, and also I might need the magic resist. Right here, finally, Draven learned not to one-on-one Sivir. You never want to one-on-one somebody who's fed. Now, here's what I was talking about exactly. Notice